He would go to the mess hall, get a glove, put it on his thang, right? You know they had the thick ones in Rikers, extra protection. He would put on the glove, make him give him the dome, the sloppy topography, and then he would give him stuff, right? So basically, he tricking off on an inmate, right, for the domey dome. Who he going to jail to get the neck and be on the down low and then go home to pretend to be somebody else? Probably a dude from the hood, right? Going home talking about he was beating up inmates, all type of ish, right? Crazy.
Like what it do, see me with the crew, had to get some food, I see you looking like you do, had to make a move, feel like gotta grow, in a Jimmy Choo, break the rules, no you're not a fool, but I'm in the mood.
You know what's shocking to me? Says Miller in the New York Post interview, former Rikers Island corrections officer. I thought there were females in there, but it were men of the alternative lifestyle, for lack of a better term. Male inmates dressed as females, Miller recalls. Some of them had breasts. They were doing the hormones and they had the tight pants on. They actually used to sew their pants down to make them tight, and they used to use the Kool-Aid and Vaseline as lipstick and eyeliner. Wow. Vaseline and Kool-Aid as lipstick eyeliner. You know something new every day. Can't unlearn that. But moving on, I was like, they got females here with the guys? That's how naive I was. She soon learned the ropes and laid down the law. No fighting, no cursing, no flooding the toilets, and no stinking, she says. I couldn't take the body odor. I'd give them soap, tell them to wash their arms. I'd also burn incense back there. I ran the tight ship. My thing was, this is your house, but if you come around me, don't come around me dangling either. Have your clothes on. I don't want to see your thang-a-lang-lang-lang. She would occasionally give an inmate an extra snack, maybe a cheese sandwich, but other guards, she says, had more intimate arrangements. AKA, they were booty-banded undercover COs. Let's get to it. Miller says, you had a lot of male officers pulling the inmates out of their cells at night to get the dome, the sloppy toppy, you know what I'm saying? The cranium, the dame cabeza. You feel me? Why? Because they nasty, they ain't got no deep discipline. They get in the neck from these inmates and then they go home sticking the same thing in their wives. Disgusting, disgusting, sick, sad, sad, sad. One officer, this is where it's about to get interesting. One officer was pulling the same inmate out. I guess this was his regular. He would go to the mess hall, get a glove, put it on his thang, right? You know they had the thick ones in Rikers, extra protection. He would put on the glove, make him give him the dome, the sloppy topography, and then he would give him stuff, right? So basically, he tricking off on an inmate, right, for the domey dome. Who he going to jail to get the neck and be on the down low and then go home to pretend to be somebody else? Probably a dude from the hood, right? Going home talking about he was beating up inmates, all type of ish, right? Crazy. But let's keep going. Well, he didn't give the inmate whatever he was supposed to give him this time, and the inmate bit his thing off. Just bit it off. The officer says, he says, later committed suicide, right? Of course he committed suicide, you know? You get your thing bit off at work. I can imagine he's at work, his thing gets bits off, and he's screaming, right? So then his partner is like, hey, what the hell? What's going on? You all right? He's like, this mother bit my, right? And then he goes to the doctor, right? And then they sew him up, they patch him up, whatever it is. Of course, you gotta file a report. The inmate that did that is going to the box for assault against an officer, and then he gotta get written up for not only having intercourse with an inmate, but having an intercourse with an inmate that's a booty bandit, or rather, he was the booty bandit, getting the sloppy topiography, getting the sloppy Topanga, you know what I'm saying? And of course, if that makes the news, or even if it don't make the news, you're gonna be the laughing stock of the whole Rikers Island. Everybody who knew about you, and then what? What are you gonna explain to your woman if you got a wife, right? Played himself for being dirty. A Department of Corrections spokesman would only confirm Miller's years of service and that she is retired. Miller says she rarely had problems with inmates. Fellow officers were another story. Anytime you go to my job, you become new meat. So me going there young, halfway decent looking, they were jealous, she says. A group once tried to push her down a flight of stairs, she says. One held her arms out so I couldn't walk past, and the other one put her foot out so I could trip, she says. Another time, she said something slick to a male officer who punched her in the face and during a scuffle, broke her finger. Why? Once again, more simps, all right? Right? Why? Because a woman don't want you putting your hands on a woman. Like, I don't understand. I really don't get it. If that ain't the most sucker thing, that's not player at all. It's not playerish. It's not PIMP-ish. It's straight suckery, straight tomfoolery, cornballs, and I hope the worst happened to them dudes, you know what I'm saying? But when she complained, right, because of course she had to go make a complaint, or when she wouldn't do what it took to get a plum job, she got the worst assignments, such as a post where you're forced to stand for 8 hours. They call it being on the burn, she says. Since retiring, Miller says she has been in a self-imposed prison. Her home in Woodhaven, Queens, the curtains are tightly drawn and sunlight is treated as an uninvited guest. I felt a lot of guilt because my sister died, even though I know the correction officer drug dealer didn't twist her arm or make her do drugs, says Miller, who is just now coming out of a depression. She says she's finishing a memoir and has started a Kickstarter campaign to raise money to get it published. She has dreams of turning her story into a movie and says she's prepared for any backlash. People are telling me shut up. That's like telling a rape victim she shouldn't have worn that miniskirt, she says. A Department of Correction edict aimed at combating the smuggling of weapons and contraband will take effect. Officers will be frisked and their belongings and lunches x-rayed as they arrive. Miller says she isn't surprised. It's wild. The power of the badge and abuse of that power plus money equals disaster for some. There is a thin line between inmate and officer. It's easy to cross over. Now that's the end of that story, okay? I broke this down into 2 parts. I want to say best wishes for the sister for sharing her story. This story needs to be heard. Rikers Island needs to die, okay? Something new has to be made, and you can't just replace the name, replace the location, and put the same people in there, right? The number one problem in Rikers Island is the men, okay? The men, right? There's no reason why this woman is rejecting advances from anyone at work, and it leads to her getting punched in her face or her finger broken, okay? That's just no excuse for that. No excuse for that. For a woman who wants to come in and do her job, that's ridiculous, you know? And a lot of people don't want to mention this, but this is why I also feel like women, if they want to work, women should work amongst women only. And men should work amongst men only. Unless it's maybe a job like maybe science-based or something like that. But still, that's not gonna stop the bigger, stronger man, right, from assaulting the smaller, weaker female, you know what I'm saying? This is a woman who has clearly been scarred, okay? She came in with her sister. Her sister became a drug addict and died of a heart attack, okay? This is a woman who has just come out of an oppression, you know? This is a real sad situation, you know? You got these men, and of course some women are probably participating in this, but the ringleaders are these men selling drugs, okay? Selling drugs to officers, selling drugs to inmates, okay? Extorting inmates, extorting officers, all right? You got the booty bandit officers, all right? Who knows about the extra incriminating things that she didn't even say, man? It's just a sad situation, man. Shout out to that sister, though. Wish the best for that sister. This was another Rikers Island story. Peace.